All right. Hunling, Sister Hunling, can you remove the whiteboard?
Oh yeah, I'm going to close the whiteboard. Cannot close.
All right.
Can you close it yourself?
Okay, hold on now. Hold on.
Okay, got it. Found it.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. So, Sister Jenny, I will take the 3 refuges and 5 precepts. Thank you.
โมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ Dhammang saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Tutiyampi Bhutam saranam gacchami, Tutiyampi Dhamman saranam gacchami, Tutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Bhutam saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Panatipada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adina Dana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kami Sumichachara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surami Raya Macha Pamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. All right. We do some silent meditation on the eve of Wesak. So maybe until about 8:50, then I'll ring the bell. Okay. Let us start with the Dhamma talk. It's good to see you all back again here, especially this auspicious night on Wesak Eve. Now, I've been thinking of the talks. This talk is nothing to do with your action or speech, but it's more of straightening our views. One of the 10 meritorious deeds, beginning with like dana, sila, bhavana, and then you have respect, or then you have service, and so on. Listening to the Dhamma talk also. So the last one is this straightening the view. I'm going to tie this to straightening the view and also tonight's Wesak day, Wesak Eve. Because it is this, especially this enlightenment of the Buddha, then only we can able to straighten our views. Without that, those enlightenment is impossible for us to able to straighten our views, and therefore, without that straightening our views, we will not able to get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. So, for those who do not know what is this Wesak or Visakha Puja, this is to signify the birth, enlightenment, and death, and parinibbana of the Buddha, not death, parinibbana of the Buddha. And the most important one is this awakening or the enlightenment. Because that enlightenment, it makes a Buddha. Now, therefore, tonight, of course, we cannot achieve that enlightenment. Perhaps you cannot achieve that enlightenment yet. But the idea of awakening, the idea of nibbana, is a very powerful concept, especially for all of us Buddhists. Now, if you don't grasp it rightly, then there's a lot of like non-clarity in our minds. We become a Buddhist, and yet we do not know what's going on here. We don't know how to do good in here. Sometimes even bad also, we do not want to give up. So, here, the enlightenment of the Buddha, it is a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful thing that because of that, then all of us have the potential to be enlightened as well. Because the Buddha laid down the path, laid down the Dhamma for all of us to follow. But it's easier said than done, because many devotees, or even monks or nuns, they say they are Buddhists, but they are not really following the path of the Buddha. And the first thing is that view. The first thing is that view, because the view is not being straightened, be not being polished, be not being able to discern or distinguish a lot of things, then all your worldly understanding, many parts of the worldly understanding will overcome and overshadow and wrapping up on all the right views. And that is a very dangerous part. And all happen within our minds and not outside. And therefore, it is important for us to explore in this idea, and hopefully that by tonight, and hopefully by in times to come, that you become more clearer about what being a Buddhist, a proper Buddhist. Uh, uh. Now, you see, tonight this talk, as I said, to straighten the views. Now, to give you an example, to give you an example, a simple example. There are many people who followed meditation, not just vipassana, but any form of many forms of meditation in the Buddhist world. But the whole purpose for them, it is not awakening or enlightenment. It is otherworldly purpose. Accept that enlightenment, accept that awakening, accept that nibbana, accept that getting out of samsara. No, they don't want that. And most people want to have meditation for the sake of worldly happiness. Yeah. So you see, although you do a lot of your meditation and so on, but it is not for the sake of liberation. It is not the sake of getting out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. It is a worldly pleasure. And many times in the Dhamma Talk, in the past, I've mentioned that not every monk or not every nun, not every Buddhist devotees wishing to get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. Say only. But they don't really want enlightenment. No. Sometimes we meet with monks wearing the robes and so on. But the whole purpose of being a monk is to able to gain some special powers. For example, like black magic or white magic, or some kind of ability to able to predict the future, or ability to able to catch some spirit and so on, And all these things, even if they develop somewhat able to predict the future, and if even they are good at it, it is still a worldly knowledge, worldly powers, which is different from normally what people have. Because of that, because of the monk is different, and therefore a lot of devotees will flock to that type of monk or that type of nun or that type of devotee, and follow that, thinking that there are the path what the Buddha taught. What the Buddha taught, to be that able to see into the future, to able to have certain powers and so on. And that is dangerous. That is dangerous for a lot of devotees. And yet, devotees may think, after all, this is not killing, this is not stealing, this is not sexual misconduct, this is not lying, this is not taking any alcohol. What's the problem with that? What's the problem with that? I'm not doing anything bad. But it is exactly because of the views is all covered up. They don't able to distinguish that what they follow is something is not wholesome, or not to say not wholesome. Sorry, it is tainted with craving and attachment. So, although they do, so to summarize this thing, although they do meditation, but the goal is not enlightenment. The goal is not getting out of samsara. The goal is not awakening. Because why? Because in between here, the mind is not clear. The mind is filled with worldly understanding. And always, because the worldly understanding is more pleasurable, the mind just attached to those things. And there are many people like that. Many. So to give you that example, what they do and what the Buddha taught is not the same. Yeah? So especially because of that view, that understanding, that their perception or their concept and so on, those things. What else? Now, again, like for example, the next thing, our everyday lives. Look at our, for example, like our health, for example. Yeah? Our health, our well-being, happiness. I'll take some, for example, our health. Yeah? Now, many of us, when we exercise, let's say, you take all kinds of supplement, you do all kinds of activities to keep yourself healthy, which is wonderful, which is good, which is great. But then, what is the purpose then? Because for most of us, we want that worldly happiness. Of course, if you don't have bodily sickness, it's wonderful, isn't it? But that's about all. Because if you don't have that bodily sickness, and sooner or later, when restriction is finally all lifted up, much more easier for you to travel, then because of that good health, you want to travel everywhere. To pay back because the past 2 years you have been locked down. You want to go everywhere. And for a lot of people are like that. And I'm sure some of you are also like that. You just want to get out from somewhere, and then just to do something. You see, that is what we call not really noble in that sense. Even the idea itself is not really noble. It's not that good health is not good. The good health is important. I also try to maintain good health too. I try to exercise, try to control my food, try to take some supplements, things like that. Meditation, in order to keep this body to be healthy. But for me, the good health is because that my mind, my intention, my clarity of my mind is that because we want to able to still progress towards finally fully free from all this cycle of birth and rebirth, finally able to eradicate all the defilements. Because of that. Or also in the sense that while if we cannot able to do that, we can still able to support those who wish to get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. Like for example, giving a talk here. For example, doing a retreat here and there. We need good health. So you have health. You have good health, which is a blessing actually. But do you ennoble it? Which rather than just worldly pleasure, but ennoble it with more spiritual with a spiritual understanding, and especially to support you to get you out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. Do we have that? You have to ask yourself. Do we have that concept? Because you don't have to do anything. Only have to shift your perception, shift your view from this worldly view into a more noble view. And just to shift that, you are straightening the view, sir, in that sense. Because now you have a good health, you have the body is healthy, mentally you're healthy, you use this health for the main purpose of finally to get you out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. secondary objectives, small objectives, further objective. Of course, there are some worldly things. Not to say that cannot, but those secondary things, for example, you still want to go to your to the tour. Yeah, it's not to say cannot, but you must realize that now those objective is in a way secondary, and then finally you have a more noble goal in life that finally this is for the sake of enlightenment. You use those health for the sake of enlightenment, for the sake of further towards development. So a lot of us, we do not have that. A lot of us, we don't think of that. And because of you don't think of that, then it is so easy for you to get caught in all the worldly pleasures. All the worldly pleasures. And even you do good also. You do good, you do dana, you do sila, not really for the sake of getting out of samsara. So again here you see, you have your health, you have your well-being, then what is the purpose? What is the goal for this thing? So the goal is to ennoble yourself, to ennoble your lives, then it has to have that awakening or that liberation. If you do not have that, most of the time you'll be caught in the worldly cycle and the worldly pleasures. So you see, all you need to do is shift your view on it. And again here, the shifting of this view is not done satu kali sahaja, it's not one time only. You have to occasionally, again and again, you have to remind yourself. Occasionally, again and again, you have to remind yourself, why am I doing this for? Why am I being healthy? Why do I have to go and cycle? Why do I have to go and do this exercise, that exercise? What is the purpose? So you got to remind yourself. I don't ask you to do it all the time, but if you're able to do it occasionally, every now and then, you'll see that your lives will start to change. We'll look into it in a short while. What else? What else that we can able to ennoble our lives to? Actually, in fact, everything you can do that, Not to say, I'm just giving a few examples here and there. Now, even talk about relationship with your husband or with your life partner, with your wives or children, and so on. Now, sometimes we hear every now and then, actually more often than not, that that you want to go to meditate, for example, to meditate and all that, to do even do dana, or even to go and meet the monks or hear the Dhamma talks. But you have to quiet go. Quiet cannot let other people know, because if you let the other your partner or whatever, they get very angry, they will stop you and they will give you all kinds of reasons. You face this type of challenge, and sometimes you want to go to meditate, and there are a lot of obstacles, even within the family itself. And many of us are in that situation, and we can understand that. But you should not be discouraged. You shouldn't be discouraged because of that. You should take it as a challenge. You should take it as a challenge that you got to find ways, somehow or another, you want to do that meditation, you want to do that dana, you want to do something, you got to find some way. Whether you have to do it quietly, so what? You have to do it. You need to do that meditation, you have to do it. You cannot wait for other people or other family members to pull you down. And that is the usually a lot of Buddhists are facing. Now, it's not easy to go through all these type of things. Yeah. Because when you want to do something wholesome, when you want to do something good, yeah, if you have that view that finally that whatever that this merits that I've attained, whatever good deeds that I've done, whatever merits that I've accrued, and whatever demeritorious action I've gave up, yeah, then when you have those thought that finally it's for the sake of enlightenment, for the sake of awakening, then you will still do it. Then you have that goal to push you through. If not, the worldly things, the people, others will pull you away from it. So therefore, you have to have a clear goal. And that clear goal is like your magnet to pull you there, rather than the worldliness that is going to pull you away. I know there will be some friction within the family or within this one. There will be some friction. I'm not going to say there's none. But it's something that sometimes you have to go through it. Because like that. Because we are we are in that relationship. We are in that family, in that sense. We can't get out from it. You just can't just cut off. Yeah. And for example, like those who want to become monks and nuns. Let me see the faces here. Who want to become monk? Let me see, go through the faces here in the Zoom. I don't think anybody here. Maybe one or two, who knows? But mostly, no lah. Because to be a monk, become a nun, is really giving up much more than what it is. For the sake of liberation, for the sake of awakening, you have to give up everything of your daily, your possessions and your asset and your relationship and whatever, your family members and so on. That is a lot of giving up because the goal is clear. Yeah, because the goal is clear to you, you give up. That is where when you read the suttas in the past, you read the sutta, you see the goal to them is so strong, they're willing to give up the family and they move on to seek for that liberation, to seek for that awakening. Because in the beginning part, the mind is clear. Then there's a drive for them to do that. If the goal is not clear, they wouldn't want to leave the family. What for? Enjoy the worldly pleasures. Enjoy everything. They got money, they got everything. But why? Because to them, the goal is clear. I'm not asking all of you to become monk or nun. But I'm asking you to have that clarity of mind. Because if you cannot able to distinguish the worldliness and the noble goal, then you will say that everything is very gray area. Of course, it's clear because the mind is not clear. Actually, it's not gray. You don't even see it at all. At least you can see gray. At least you know something gray is there. If you don't have it, you don't even see it at all. You don't even know it's there. So at least as a devotees, as you want to really follow the path of what the Buddha taught. So therefore, the goal must be clear to you. Your goal, your practice, your dana, everything has to be clear to you. What is those purpose for? Even your career. Many of you are still working. Many are still working, and of course, you still need to support your family. Now, again here, even with your career, with your whatever job that you are, whatever business that you are in, again here, it's also, I'm not asking you to change all your business ethic or business way of doing things, but it's to make sure that you know that this career to support yourself and your family, also the financial means is to support support for your spiritual gain also. And finally, towards the end of cycle of birth and rebirth. Yeah. You still need that. As a devotee, you still need financial stability. Yeah. If you don't have financial stability, your mind is very restless, a lot of worry inside you. Yeah. So if you're not going to become a monk or a nun, so therefore you still need financial stability, you still need a place to stay, you need to still pay your bills, and so on, all these mundane things. But finally, you also must realize that all these things, your career, whatever it is also to support your spiritual development. Because financially, if you have certain financial means, you can able to do dana, for example. And that dana, it creates merits, and merits, it helps you to help you to support you in your liberation in future. Uh, and financial means also, for example, if sometimes you need to go far away to meditate and so on, you have the means to go to that. Uh, some people say, no money, no insight. You stay outside. You know what it means? The insight here is no, because you can't come into a meditation retreat. You come into a meditation retreat, you still have to this. As long as you are genuine, you are willing to train, there are people willing to support you. Yeah. When I go meditation retreat, then even sometimes when I just say that I want to go retreat, there are people, I mean a few people which already they also pass away. They support me, giving me a ticket, a bus ticket from Penang all the way to Kota Tinggi to meditate. Yeah, they support me by giving me what the daily the daily funds that you have to contribute, something like that. So they support me for the time that I'm going to stay there. Yeah. So there are people who really who want to support you in that sense. So with that financial means also, you can able to not only support yourself, but you can able to support others also to help them to gain enlightenment. And who knows, if that person go and then suddenly they kena enlightenment now, then your marriage will be triple, incalculable. But never know. But what I'm saying is that even your career too, you have to have to make it in such a way that you can able to support yourself and for your spiritual development. That means is your development of your career is not just only for your family, for the worldly happiness and so on, but you use a portion of it, you use a number of a portion of it so that it can able to finally get you out of samsara. And you have to be clear about that too. If it's not clear, then again in the future, when you are having a lot of difficulties and so on, then all this dana and sila and bhavana thing is all going to be covered up. Yeah, it's going to be covered up because why? The goal is not clear. Yeah. So if the goal is clear, we always do something, work something, create something in our lives so that we can able finally to end the suffering. Because all these things is the means of to support you. And this is really important actually. Just to change your mind. sometimes to talk about changing devotees' minds is so difficult sometimes. Sometimes once in a while I give a talk, I say, if I talk to the wall, it's better than to talk to the yogis or the devotees. Because it's so dense, the minds of the people, so dense. Yeah. It's not easy to able to go through, to free ourselves from all these worldly possession and worldly attachments. Yeah. You see, sometimes you go to places. You go to places that sometimes people or devotees, when they go to a certain monk or a certain nun, they're more interested in their worldly things. Is they're more interested in the worldly things, and also the monks also usually teach them the worldly things or whatever the devotees want, and just to accommodate them for whatever they want. Because sometimes the monks themselves also they got ulterior motives too. Because sometimes if they say whatever the people like to hear, then they get more support. Financially perhaps, fame perhaps, gains in the requisites perhaps, So many things are ulterior motives, because all these are worldly attachments. Many times. Uh, uh, Sometimes you tell them about the meditation, about nibbana, nobody want to listen to you, or very few people want to listen to you. So if we that to them, after that they say, oh, like that betanjia, you cannot find any source of so-called income. So that is happening in the world of monkhood also. So we got to be clear. We got to be clear. If not, now we will, even if you wear the robes too, you'll be connected back to the world because of the attachment of that possessions and seeking for gains, fame, and so on. Very strong. Yeah. I don't think that just because you wearing every monk that wear a robe and bota is all the same goal. No. Many monks, many nuns, they do not have that sense, that awakening, the sense of awakening, in that sense, in that way. No, they don't. Many monks, they do not have that. Sad to say. Even nowadays, with all this Dhamma and online and books and audio and so on, then there will be a lot of jumbled up Dhamma. There will be so many Dhammas, all like a rojak like that. We do not know what is right and what is wrong. Because why? Because perhaps we don't study that much, or perhaps we don't meditate that much. So a lot of things jumble up. Yeah. Now, it's so easy. It is so easy that to manipulate the devotees is to give them something pleasurable. Because devotees gong, not much of not many devotees are having wisdom. But a lot of devotees, even you tell them about meditation, and if you tell them meditation that is calm, with a lot of calming, very peaceful, very, very joyful, not much pain, not much tension, not much all kinds of dukkha, then you're going to have a lot of devotees. a lot of meditators. Yeah. For example, even you will see that if you do samatha meditation and vipassana meditation, samatha meditation has more yogis. Vipassana meditation has very very few yogis. Why? Because it is pleasurable. Yeah. So, as I said, that a lot of things when it's pleasurable, devotees tend to follow it. Whether it is right or wrong doesn't matter to them. Views to them is not important. It's not an important aspect. As long as I said earlier on, you don't kill, don't steal, you don't lie, fine enough, good enough to live the life. So to them, mental development is about having all this type of peace. Now, the moment that the yogis are going attached to the peace, seeking for the peace, and then again, it is going to go out of the real nibbana. Why? When they seek out for that type of easy peace, just sit down, quiet, keep the mind blank, and so on, then, after that, they will think that, or they perceive that, or they believe that this is already nibbana, or they perceive that this is already the goal, which is so easy to get. Just keep your mind quiet, keep your mind blank, keep your mind empty. That's it. Yeah. You don't have to go through what the Buddha thought. Even the Buddha thought there's a first noble truth, there is dukkha. They have not even ever seen what is dukkha. Yeah. To them is that if you go through the suffering of the world, that is dukkha enough, that dukkha already, okay, now you push away all the dukkha, now you go to all the sukha. Piti, sukha, and so on, all the bliss and happiness and so on. And to them, that is already liberation. And that is again, all falls into a wrong view. Yeah. And sometimes this is quite sad, because sometimes there are yogis, there are people who are genuinely seeking for a spiritual development. And yet, along the way, they turn. Because the worldliness, it's more exciting, more tempting, more captivating compared to the dukkha that you're going to go through. Yeah. Now, because all these things, because the goal is not clear. Very much to do with the goal is not clear. Now, what else? Now, sometimes also, when your goal, when the goal of awakening to you when it's not clear, then also I've seen devotees practicing after some time. They meditate. Maybe they don't progress that well. Then after that, they will seek for completely other forms of meditation. I don't want to say it's bad, but sometimes they seek for other religion also. They seek for other religion, other special guru, to give them some power. To give them some power so that their meditation become better. There are people who do that. Because the goal again is not clear. They cannot rely on the Buddha. They cannot rely on the Dhamma. They want to rely on what is outside the dispensation, outside the sasana, outside the teachings of the Buddha. And then they thought that they can able to seek something great and wonderful and supernatural powers and so on. Then after that, you come back or whatever they want to do. Right? Sometimes they're blinded. You see, for a sotapanna and enlightenment onwards, it is said that you cannot go to other teachers. Even you meet with other people and so on, but you cannot go to other teachers apart from the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. You cannot go away. from it, because you've seen the truth. So before we can have that partner, then let me say it back. Keep your path in the Dhamma, and keep the goal clear to you. Now, when you keep this goal clear to you, your understanding is clear to you, and it's not vague, that this is something that you really want to achieve, let's say, it's going to change a number of your lives, a number of parts in your life. Yeah. First of all, you may not want to do so much of these worldly things. A lot of things you may want to give up. Whether you're going to realize it or not, your the way that how you live your life is going to change because of that goal is clear to you. And one of the things, as I said, a lot of these worldly things you're going to give up. You don't have to go to cinema, doesn't matter. You don't have to play with all kinds of this and that, doesn't matter. You don't get to eat this, doesn't matter. Before that, cannot. Before that, you want to achieve certain amount of money in a certain time, you really go for it until you dapat, until you get everything. But now, it's not your main goal anymore. So some parts of your life is going to start to change. And people will see you how you change. And people can sense that you are changing. And that also you have to live with it. And that changing, when your goal is clear to you, if you're a meditator, if you're a yogi, even like, for example, if we have to go through another COVID or another thing, then all the mind is, although the anxiety may come up, but if the goal is clear, we still will keep it go. We will still keep the fire burning. If not, sometimes for example, these 2 years when we go through all this COVID, I see some yogis or some people, the anxiety, the worry, and everything becomes burned into their psyche, into their mind. And when you tell them, hey, let's go meditate, no thank you. Why? Anxiety is still there a lot. So because the mind is still the fear is stronger than the clarity of the mind. I know I can't say for everybody, a lot of you may have your own this one, but sooner or later, if you don't pull yourself out from it, in order to go further, then it's going to be it's going to hold you back, and you do not have the years or some more. 2 years gone very fast only. 2 years pass by very fast. Nevertheless, hopefully that tonight's talk, tonight with the Wesak, the Visakha Puja here, and then we can tie this thing together, that the Buddha's enlightenment actually also for us, it's a very important part. If we have that goal in mind, we can change many things in our life for the better. It gives you the energy, it gives you the determination, it gives you the distinguishing factor of the mind, the discerning factor of the mind, to make your mind much more clearer, so that when we keep on going onto this path, it's going to go a little bit more better, or even better compared to the past. So keep that in mind, hopefully. And as I said, do this again and again. It'll be very helpful to all of you. Okay? So stop here for tonight. Okay. Now, before I go, I have a little bit of announcement, especially on the retreat part of it. Now, this coming weeks, there'll be some retreats going on. Now, bear with me for another 15 minutes. I'm going to share something with all of you. Okay. Okay, hold on now. This is not the one that I want. Okay, hold on now. Okay. All right. Now, this retreat I just finished. Yeah. Now, this retreat I just finished in Kuching last week, and we have also have some. Also, I recorded some of the all the talks there. Now, if you want this QR code, you just scan it, and then you will go through you will go through the link. You can download it. But here, I tell you, the Dhamma talks here. It's because there are a few people. There's a number of people who don't speak English, yeah? So it's a Hokkien dialect. So if you don't understand Hokkien, then you don't have to download it. But if you are able to understand some Hokkien dialect, then okay. Yeah. So you scan here, you scan on that thing. You use a phone to scan it, and then you can able to it goes through the thing. Hey, you all know how to scan or not? If you know how to scan, okay. Don't know how to scan, it doesn't matter. Anyway. Next one. This is for tonight. This is tonight's talk. This one I shared to you past what? I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, or a month ago. I think so. I forgot. Anyway, this is tonight. All right. The next one. Now the next one. This QR code is just now from above also. No. The next one is I'm going to start a retreat too with SBVMS. This in Bodhiarama in Kuala Kubu Baru. It's 2 weeks on the 16th to 31st of May. So it's already full. It's already full. The registration starts within a minute or two. I think it's already full. But nevertheless, what I'm going to do is during that time, I wish to do a online live Dhamma talk during the retreat also. Yeah, but of course, currently I'm not there yet. I can able to set up what I'm setting up over here, but finally everything depends on the internet connection. I think that in Bodhiarama, the meditation hall, the internet connection is much more stable compared to where my room or my kuti. If anything there's any live thing to do with on my kuti, there's hardly any internet connection at all. Even sometimes to make a phone call is also so difficult in my kuti. So in this one, I may start. So tomorrow I've got to set it up and see whether things can go on or not. So the Dhamma talk will start around, let's say, about 8:15 like that, It's not going to be like what we're going to do right now. There are yogis in front of me, so they will do the chanting and so on. So there will not be much of a sharing of the sharing of screen. The next one is a Saida Asapachara stock. I think also is full. I'm not very sure. Now, the dining hall is still on. The dining hall and the office is still ongoing renovation. So the yogis have to do the lunch and breakfast in the ladies' dorm, the old ladies' dorm. There's a hall there. So just to keep you all up to date here. Actually, I wanted to let all the yogis sit on the floor, cukup lah, can makan lah, but the organizer cannot, must give them a little bit of pleasure to sit on the chair and table. Fine, no problem. Okay. Then next one. Now the next one is in the Nalanda. After the Buddhist, this one we have this one. we in Nalanda to 2nd to the 6th of June, 5 days. This is a beginner's retreat. Yeah, it's already full. It's already, I think it's up to 41, 42, 43. This is already full. Yeah, so no point. Now the next one. Now in Penang, I also have a retreat. Now the Peace House is organizing with Santarama Buddhist Hermitage. The meditation is at Santarama Buddhist Hermitage. Now here I think in the next 1 or 2 days, maybe there are still some 1 or 2 places. Some 1 or 2 places more for female. The male still got place. The male still got place. I think right now we have only 1 or 2, but the female we have maybe just 1 or 2 places. Maybe. So I think the renovation in the female quarters are almost finishing. So by the time I start the retreat, I think it should be able to finish by then. Okay. Now, the next thing. A number of you, I know that wanted to get into the retreats, this one, and also Sayadaw Asabachara. Now we are limited. The places are all limited. So a number of you may not able to get into the retreat. So we understand. We understand. So what I'm going to do is this. Vassa. I'll be spending my Vassa this year in Kota Tinggi, in Santi Sukarama, Kota Tinggi. All right. The Vassa starts on the 13th July to 9 October. So that time I'll be there. So therefore, when I'll be there, I'll be doing also some teaching also. Now the person to contact is Sister Sam, and then this is the WhatsApp number there. Okay. Female, we only can take about 16 female, and we have 10 male yogis because the male place is a bit more bigger. So this female yogis place, sometimes if when we start off, after that we see we can have more places, maybe we can still add 1 or 2 more, or like in that sense. We have to start the retreat first, then only we see how much we can do in order not to be too close to each other, but we still have some space. So this is one thing. Now, next, the yogis arrival. Now you can only arrival on these dates only, because the reason I put these dates is because of we need to do some checking on SOP, this type of things. So you have to bear up with us this time. Now, the Vassa begin on the 13th July. So here, some yogis may want to come in at this time. And after that, in between, we do not take any yogis to come in. So until the 30th July, on Saturday, then the yogis those who are already registered, then can come in. Then until we have 30th July, 13 August, 27 August, 10 September, 24 September. So this is on alternate Saturdays. On alternate Saturdays. Because again here, the reason we do this way, again here, for the sake of, we have to do testing, we have to do the RTK antigen test and so on. So in order to facilitate all the testing properly, so I recommend to the Sister Sam we come on this. The reason I chose the Saturday is because also for those workers, as those people who are still working, they want to take off, then sometimes it's good that for them to start on Saturday, then they finish on the coming Sunday. So minimum of retreat is 10 days. Okay, maximum you can stay for the entire Vassa. That means from 13 to 9 October. After that, the place have to prepare usually for Katina. So here again, you must register. You cannot just come in during this retreat. If you don't register, if you don't see your name, I'm very sorry. You have to leave. So the attire here, again, for most yogis, I don't have to tell them, but some yogis come in with all kinds of clothing. So here top is plain white with sleeve. You can have your blouse, you can have a t-shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, but you cannot have no sleeve. I think in Kota Tinggi, here in this one, you need to have sometimes even long sleeve, especially the men's part, because of mosquito. Sorry. Bottom, you can have plain white or dark single color, cover below the knees. For men, again, I think that it's better to cover right up to your ankle, because here, the men area is mosquito a lot. So again, here, you make sure you have your booster shot. So here, so again, here will be the rains retreat that I'll be conducting this one. So if you are a new yogi, hopefully you come on the first day on the 13th July. Then that time I will teach you the basic part of the whole meditation, how to do, how to walk, and so on. So after that, I may not have the time to go through all the instruction again. So this is the one. So anything you want, you contact Sister Sam tomorrow, or this one you WhatsApp her. If you want to join the retreat. So hopefully, if you have registered your retreat somewhere else, then hopefully you don't cancel there, You just carry on whatever the retreat wherever you are. Okay, so this is on the this one, nothing else. Okay, so I will put this thing also in my blog, and also the Dhamma talks also are also later on, maybe 1 or 2 more days I'll put it up in my blog, so to have a more clearer picture for those who want to see it again. Okay, that's it. We share merits for tonight. Now, with all the merits that we have done for today, the Dhamma talk and so on, and also in our Wesak, if we dedicate these merits to all our departed ones and all the devas. So you all follow after me. Idang me silang,
Itang me silang,
nibbanasa,
nippanasa,
pachayo,
pachayo,
hotu.
hodu,
May my virtue
may my virtue
be a condition
be a condition
for the realization
for the realization
of nibbana.
of Nibbana.
Idang me bhavanang,
Itang me bawanan,
asawa kaya wahang,
asawa kayawahang,
hotu.
hodu,
May my mental cultivation
may my mental cultivation
be a condition
be a condition
for the eradication
for the eradication
of all mental defilements.
of all mental defilements.
Imang no
Imano,
punya bagang
punya bagang,
sabba satanang
sapa satanan,
dema.
dema.
We share these merits
We share these merits
with our departed ones,
with our departed ones,
with all beings
with all beings,
and all the devas.
and all the devas.
Sabbe satta
Sabbe satta,
sukhi hontu
sukhi hontu,
anumodantu.
anumodantu.
May all beings
May all beings
be happy.
be happy.
May they rejoice
May they rejoice
in these merits.
in these merits.
Sadhu. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, take care. Bye bye.